very mechanism, the weapon being used to subvert him. Now this is extremely important because it goes right to today's topic of tragedy. I want to point something out before we get to that, which is there are a series of messages you have seen in the back. One from Lyndon LaRouche to What Are You Loyal? Which is basically Lynn's call from December 31st for what is essentially the formation of a new political formation in the United States. It's not going to be a new party. I'm not saying it that way. But the way to think about it is, in this country, during the 1850s, the party structures disintegrated. The Democratic Party was the party of slavery and treason. And the old Whig Party, as it was called, had pretty much disintegrated. That was the party that was pushing what we refer to as the American system. Protectionism, high tariffs, internal improvements, and so on. But it had degenerated. And what happened was that a group of people formed themselves into a political formation. And that political formation was called the Republican Party. One of the things that you can see in a book by Stephen Ambrose, it happens to be a fairly well-written book, on the Transcontinental Railway system, nothing like it in the world, is that the people who formed the Republican Party had already fully been recruited to Lincoln's intention to build a transcontinental railway. And that during 1860, prior to Lincoln's inauguration, 1 month before, they were in Washington at that time organizing with Lincoln to make sure that no matter what else, they were going to have that transcontinental railway. I mention this because the narrative that you have about Lincoln and the narrative about Lincoln's relationship to the questions of not just slavery, but the questions of the Constitution always leaves out the essential thing about Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln called himself, and referred to himself, as the DeWitt Clinton of Illinois. That Abraham Lincoln was inspired to go into politics when he was 15 years old, 16 years old, when by hearing about the reports of the Erie Canal, which was near completion. It was completed in 1825. And he wanted to do the same thing for the Midwest and for the entire United States, both in the form of canal systems as well as in form of the transportation system. Something to think about, something to recognize, because you have to realize it took 7 months for people like William Sherman to get to California to fight the Mexican War. There were 3 ways you went. You went overland, you went around the Cape Horn, or you went down by the Panama, which was not a canal then. You went through that and you got tropical diseases. Many people didn't survive. And everybody that went, that got there said, we'll never do this again. Let's find a different way to get across this country and to unify this country. I'm trying to point this out because often Lyndon LaRouche is misestimated in terms of his role, both in terms of as an American, but also as a creative thinker. We're doing something and we've been involved in something that's working rather well. And you'll get more about that and we can talk more about that later.